All right, peace. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, giving honor and praise to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov. Giving double honors to 7130 South Chicago that taught me this truth. And giving double honors, Slicker, to all the brothers and sisters that the Creator has awoken in these last days. With that being said, peace and shalom. All right, brothers and sisters, I want to read an article today. And the article reads by New York Post. It says, North Carolina 16-year-old breaks down, cries for mama after being charged as adult for murder under new state law, right? So it reads, it says, a North Carolina teen was brought to tears screaming in disbelief and needed to be held up by court officers after he was told by a judge he would be charged as an adult for murder. It says Sean Simpson, 16, was charged with first-degree murder last month for allegedly shooting Zaquavious Dawkins, also 16, on January 26 in Gastonia, about 20 miles outside of Charlotte. WCCB reported. The alleged killer has been sobbing and unable to stand on his own as judge appointed him a capital defender, denied him bail, and told him he will be charged as an adult. And it says, I love you, Mama, Simpson waved out as he was escorted out of the courtroom January 29th. It says he allegedly gunned down Dawkins as he was walking with a friend to pick up items for his disabled mother at a Family Dollar when a black Tesla drove past them and a boy identified as Simpson yelled at them from the back passenger seat. The Gaston Gazette reported. The Tesla returned and headed towards the boys, prompting them to run away. Simpson then allegedly started to shoot at them from the back of the car as they fled, hitting Dawkins in the right shoulder. And reading this article, brothers and sisters, this is one of the reasons why our children need a father figure. Well, they need their fathers in their lives, males and females. And why do you need a father? Really, you need a father is to show you how to process a lot of things that young kids are going to be faced with when they reach the age, I'm going to say around 11 to 20 years old. I would even say 11 on up. It's because you come to your parents for wisdom and guidance. And what are some of the things that we can't really process? You know, a lot of the stuff that we see on TV. Like most kids that get into gangs and things of this nature, a lot of times they get that from watching stuff on television or certain things that they may be exposed to in their communities where they stay. And see, and the young guy that killed this young guy, see, he needs a father also. It's because had he had both parents in the house, he probably wouldn't even end up like that. And see, another thing too, our people is still dealing with the residue of the curses of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, is because, see, when we see each other, we don't see each other as brothers and sisters. We see ourselves as enemies. See, a lot of times, we talk about the white man, but in this day and era, you got more black people killing each other is because, let's look at a scripture on that. Let's turn to Jeremiah 17:4. One second. Jeremiah 17:4. It says, "And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thy enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever." See? And when we talk about discontinuing, what does that mean? That the knowledge of self has been taken away from us as a nation of people. See? And this is what we're dealing with now. Let's look at this. Let's turn to 1 Peter 5:8. 1 Peter 5:8. It says, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour." See? And that's what's going on with our kids today. They're being devoured in the system is because when we see each other today, brothers and sisters, we don't look at ourselves anymore as the nation of Israel. We look at ourselves as enemies. See, all these different gangs and things of this nature. And see, a lot of times when a lot of our kids, because they don't have proper role models, they don't have proper leadership, a lot of times we seek leadership from other individuals. And a lot of times we seek leadership from the people that's in the streets. Or we look on television. See, a lot of these young kids, they look up to people like Future. They look up to these young rappers, these drill rappers. And and what's going on? We driving up on people in gas stations, and we daring them to run so we can shoot them in the back. See, we having arguments with each other, and we don't know how to settle our differences, and we think that we supposed to settle our differences by picking up guns or picking up bats and things of this nature and going upside people's heads. See, because our heritage, our culture has been taken away from us. When we identify ourselves today, we're still identifying ourselves through what? Proverbs and bywords. But let's continue with the article. It says, "The Tesla returned and headed towards the boys, prompting them to run away. Simpson then allegedly started to shoot at them from the back of the car as they fled, hitting Dawkins in the right shoulder. The teen was found by police covered in blood in a parking lot and died from his injuries. His friend was also injured in the shooting but survived. Simpson was arrested 2 days later by the Gastonian Police Department at the Gaston Adolescent Centers. a facility for children with emotional and behavioral disorder. The alleged killer teen had been receiving treatment at the center when he was arrested. So the young guy that allegedly shot the young 16-year-old, he suffered from what you would call emotional issues. It's because, like I say, a lot of times when we don't have a proper upbringing, a lot of times we suffer from emotional problems. See, and a lot of times the emotional problems is due to the fact of something lacking at the crib. See, you don't even know what's going on with him. He could have certain traumas that's going on with him that will prompt him to take on this mentality. But let's continue. It says Dawkins' aunt, Denise Wilson, who was in court when Simpson was charged, told that her nephew Simpson had a problem with each other. It says that her nephew and Simpson had a problem with each other last year, but they believed that it says, but they believed the two settled the issue. See, but they not settling the issue is because a lot of times we don't know how to settle issues. And see, a lot of times when we sit back and we call this in the streets, we call this rocking somebody to sleep. Meaning that I can talk to you and make you think that the issue is settled, but once I see you again, I'm going to kill you because I'm going to discombobulate you with the notion that whatever issue that we had, and a lot of times we killing each other over petty issues that's not even major. We'll have an argument or something like that in the streets, or whatever the issue is. It's not really a major issue, but because we see certain things in the neighborhood that traumatizes us from a young youth, or we watching television. A lot of times we look at television, we look at these rap videos, and these rap videos are positioned on purpose to introduce our young kids to a way of thinking that is contrary to what we was thinking way before. They're teaching these young kids to kill each other so that they can go to prison. So this is why you need both parents at home. And let's say that you have one parent, right? The parent's job is to prepare the child for the future. You know, back in the day, when you had Jim Crow laws and things of this nature, before your kids would go outside, your parents will always, this is what was instructed into them when they was young. Look, don't be going over here, don't be going over there. You bring your butt in the house at 5 or 4 o'clock. Don't be talking to people and things of this nature, because there's people outside that don't like you because of the color of your skin. See, this is what was going on back in the day, because you had Caucasians back then. They was kidnapping black kids and they was hanging them. So it was the job of the parent to instruct the kid at a young age on what he should and what he shouldn't be doing. When you see two white people walking down the street, keep your head to the ground and keep walking. See, and a lot of people may look at that as you teaching your kids to be subservient, but a lot of times the parents was doing that to save their children. When you come across white people, right? You say sir and ma'am. Don't disrespect, because why? Because they'll kill you. But see, we don't prepare our kids today. And what are we preparing our kids? Sad to say, we are actually preparing our kids not to get shot by people that look just like them. To stay they behinds out of situations that they have no business being in. Watching what your kids are watching on television. Putting them in activities and things of this nature to keep them grounded a certain type of way. This is the job of the parent. And this is why you have this young man being charged with murder. It's because a lot of times when we bring these kids into the world, we don't really have a clue on what it is to be a parent, because a lot of us is broken. Let's continue. It says Dawkins' aunt Denise Wilson, who was in court when Simpson was charged, told that her nephew and Simpson had problems with each other last year, but they believe the two settled the issue. It says, one second. I done missed my place. One second. Okay, here we go. Wilson, who shared that Dawkins was a sweet and kind boy who would do anything for anybody, said the family had been left in shambles over his death. Now, I'm not denying that Dawkins probably wouldn't do a lot of things for people and stuff like that, but we have to examine that situation also. Why is him and that boy having an issue? And we have to look at this also as that, look, the sweet, kind boy that's being portrayed in the newspapers is not always the case. A lot of these young guys are out here in the streets, and they involved in the streets. See, he may do a lot of things for his family, but we don't know what type of person he is when he outside. And see, a lot of these young guys are taking on a certain type of mentality. See, they becoming killers at a young age. And a lot of times our parents, they be in denial over this type of stuff. And see, a lot of times, man, the media, because they want to portray the other person as a brute beast, they will paint the other person as the kind person, and then they will paint the person that does the crime as the brute beast. But in actuality, both of them are in these streets, and they're engaging into stuff that they have no business engaging. That's what I'm saying. Like when you a parent, like if you gotta chastise your child, the first thing you gotta do, you gotta get down to the root of the situation. Because a lot of times your kid is not innocent as you think he is. It says, for him not to be here today, we're all heartbroken, she said. We're heartbroken. It says, Dawkins' grandmother, Evelina Dawkins, said her grandson's death has affected more than just his family. It's affecting everybody, even the neighborhood he lives in. Evelina said while fighting back tears. And you know something, man? This goes back to I think I was 7 years old. Yeah, I think I was 7 years old, right? You know, I was living in the projects. And the first known killing that I knew about as a youngster was my friend Lamontez's uncle. Like me and we used to call Lamontez, his nickname was Pudgy, right? So Pudgy was named after his uncle Montez, right? So Montez was in this gang called the Goon Squads. Cause my sister she was in the gang also. She was in the same gang as him. They was Goon Squads. And the prominent, more powerful gang that was on the low end at that time was the El Rukins, aka Blackstone Rangers, right? So Montez, Montez was kind of well liked in the neighborhood around his peers. But Montez, he was a gangbanger. And I believe that Montez was probably about 13 years old. He was 13 years old. But Montez, one day, he was outside with one of the gang leaders, I believe. And some guys, I believe from the El Rukins, they came and shot Montez in the head, killed him. You know what I'm saying? And shot the guy that he was with. I think him and his friend got killed. So why did I bring up that story? I brought that story up is because Montez came from a big family. But I believe that I don't believe that he had a father at home. You know what I'm saying? And, his mother, Miss Johnson, she did a hell of a job raising all those kids, but I don't even believe that she had a man at home. And even if she didn't have a man at home, because she had so many kids, a lot of times you can't really, make sure a lot of times, like parents, they can't make sure a lot of your kids are attended to with certain type of needs. And another thing too, a lot of times parents don't take the time and put their kids in certain activities so that they won't get themselves in trouble. And see, like Martez was like 12 or 13 years old at the time. So I remember he started getting in trouble with the police and stuff like that. What is a 13-year-old kid? Why is he getting in trouble with the police? Is because why? He's not really listening to his parents. And as a result of that, he got killed. He got shot in the head, And that was like in the 1980s. So this thing of young kids being killed is not nothing new. This has been going on in the neighborhood for decades. But let's continue. It says Simpson is believed to be one of the first teenagers to be charged under new state law enacted in December the 1st that can charge 16 and 17-year-olds as adults if they are accused of committing Class A through Class E felonies include murder. So, is a lot of us reading? Because for myself, I didn't even know that it was a new state law that says that kids can be charged as an adult from ages of 16 and 17. So why am I saying this? I'm saying this is because it's our responsibility as parents to show our kids what is gonna happen to you if you get caught up in these streets. See, what is gonna happen to you if you get caught up in these streets? And that goes back to the scripture. Let's go back. It says, 1 Peter 5:8, be sober. And sober is a concept. That's somebody that's what? They drunk. So a lot of times when you drunk, you can't pay attention to what's going on out here. So when you sober, you able to pay attention to certain things that goes on out here. And this is for the parents, and this is for the children. See, we have to be vigilant about what's going on. So it's up to us to be reading these new state laws so that we can be able to teach this to our kids. It's because the first information or the education that a kid should be receiving, they should receive that from their parents. Just like back in the day, before your kids went out for school during the Jim Crow era or the Black Code era. That was the Black Codes, but your parent would drill in the kid's head. When you see white people, make sure you're on your best behavior. Because if you're not on your best behavior, they'll take you and they'll kill you. This is what we need to be telling our kids. If you out here trying to be like these people on rap videos, or you trying to be like these people in the neighborhood that's out here shooting people, what's going to happen to you is you're going to do life in prison. You're going to do 20, 30, or you may not even get out of prison. And when you go to prison, I can't save you. I can't save you from the individual that's going to try to rape you when you're in the shower. I can't save you from the individual that's going to slash your face just because he want to slash your face. I can't save you in there. So the best thing for you to do is listen to my instructions. I'm not giving you these instructions to put you in a certain type of bad situation. I'm giving you these instructions because why? I care about your future. It says be vigilant because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. And see, this young man that killed that young boy probably over something petty. Now he has been devoured in the system. See, he's been devoured. And brothers and sisters, in a minute, what they finna start doing, they finna start putting you in these prisons. They gonna start eliminating you. See, in a minute, they're gonna change more laws depending on the crime. You're gonna be put to death the next day if you go out here and kill somebody unjustly. It says be vigilant. I already read that. And see, we don't understand who the adversary is, brothers and sisters. We don't understand that. The adversary is the one that is educating you on television, teaching you that it's okay for you to create these gangs in the street that's causing all this havoc. See, that's the adversary.